My upgrades are Invincible, Chapter 27, Fan Fiction, by Azazyel. So while Tina had the lovely task of getting a cart filled with ostrich and chicken corpses, along with aphrodisiacs of all things, I had the far more socially acceptable task of curing Materia's magical cancer. Which I was going to do as naturally as possible. I went around Orario and bought some bees to get the venom from their stingers. I got a bag of walnuts, and anything else with natural phytochemicals that would restrict cancer growth, and if anything attacks it. Then, with Materia's own blood as the base, I fused all those ingredients along with several of my improved potions and elixirs for both healing and detoxification I had in my inventory. Materia's Draft of Cleansing. Draft of Cleansing was purposefully made with Materia's bodily signature, improving its many healing effects fivefold towards the target materia. Warning: due to the blood signature used in the potion, it will only provide 15% of its typical effects it would provide without a blood signature to any target that is not materia. Maybe I should bloodlock potions for myself and Tina? I pondered before shrugging as I went back over the effects, and I was rather confident it could help Materia a good bit due to how my previous detoxification elixir helped her before with such a small sample. With that already taken care of, I then expanded the capture box and reinforced it with some scrap metal and dust I got from Tsubaki's shop. Now, let's see if I can make some enchanted accessories. I muttered as I idly watched my tame jack bird strutting around the one-bedroom apartment, checking it out. After a moment of thought, I took out a kobold fawn along with some string and just fused them together to check and see what would happen. Kobold necklace, a kobold fawn tied together in the form of a necklace. My face twitched at the lack of any result, and then I blinked and smacked my forehead as I realized the kobold fawn wasn't fusing itself into the string to enhance it. It just literally tied the string around the fawn to make a necklace. So with that in mind, I took out a monster stone and then fused it with the necklace so that together with the monster stone, it would be fully enchanted. Once the fusion was complete, I took a look at the results and saw how the fawn had blue glowing veins streaking through the black fawn. Enchanted Kobold Fawn Necklace. Kobold Fawn Necklace provides the user with a 5% increase in endurance, as well as the Kobold Fawn effect of allowing the user to pierce through flesh, bone, and armor easier. Well, this has potential, I muttered, nodding at the sight and realizing although the 5% endurance buff was pretty good, the real shiner was how it would allow me to deal with the many dungeon monsters that had an armored carapace like killer ants and other things. After a moment of thought, I said with a small smile, "Fuck it. Let's see how crazy this necklace can get." I said, and then I flipped the board as I dumped all the monster corpses, monster stones, monster drops, a dozen potions, and elixirs. And then finally, the remains of the adamantine dust I kept from Tsubaki's workshop after working my ass off infusing all her metal ingots and drops to save her dozens of hours of work. There was nothing special that happened during the fusion. It went completely normal, surprisingly, but as the bracelet landed in my hands to inspect it, I realized it completely lost its previous appearance as a glowing kobold fawn wrapped around some string. Now, its previous dog tooth shape had completely changed to something more akin to a serrated bear's tooth, along with the string being replaced with a red chain that matched the stupidly expensive adamantine that you could only get from floor 58 in the dungeon in the Dragon Vase level. Fawn of Greater Beasts, provides user skill Honeybadger's Disdain. Provides potent physical and magical regeneration after killing enemies labeled beasts. Raises user's natural endurance stat by 2 letter grade equivalents while worn, raises user's natural strength stat by 1 letter grade. Honeybadger's Disdain. User's skin becomes thicker both physically in becoming denser and far more durable, with even some elasticity to prevent tearing, while also protecting the user from magical taunts and poisons that would affect the user. Well, this is pretty damned good, honestly. I said with an intrigued smile, but then my smile died. As I realized, I just about emptied my entire inventory except for some potions and my weapons into the enchanted bracelet. So there was no damned way for me to do this again with a dozen rings or something to make myself as blinged out as possible. Maybe I should go fuse the Orario garbage area or something. I muttered to myself as I wondered how I could get large amounts of materials to fuse without running off to Hephaestus, as I did not want to owe her anything more than the large allowance she was already giving me. After a moment of thought, it hit me. The monster stone pit. I hissed as I recalled the utterly massive open mine pit that Orario had for mining common materials years ago, that got repurposed for a dumping ground for all the Magitech items that used up the fuel in monster stones, and people would throw away the almost worthless, dead, and dull monster stones. I wondered if I could make a super magic stone that could hold stupid amounts of magical energy, and then I could fuse that stupidly powerful magic stone into something to give it an insanely powerful enchantment. It was a good idea, though, as I considered literally leaving right now to go try. The door to my apartment swung open with a clatter as Tsubaki stalked in with Tina thrown over her shoulder like a fucking bag of potatoes with her butt facing me. "Jake Barris," Tsubaki said in a mischievous sing-song voice, and I blinked and sighed as I realized something went wrong obviously. This little missy got caught bringing in a large cart filled with 150 dead chickens, 15 dead ostriches, 5 illegal magical aphrodisiacs, and a fucking outhouse that was apparently converted into a pallium-sized apartment. There was a moment of silence as Tina looked at me upside down from Tsubaki's side and at her deadpan face and Tsubaki's shit-eating grin. I answered flatly. "Never seen her before in my life, take her away, officer."